Hey, what's up guys? I'm Jared Poirier, and welcome to my movie review show where I talk about the Illuminati and human-alien hybrids. Just kidding, I talk about movies. So believe it or not, here on my movie review show, I normally review movies. And you know what guys? I've been reviewing movies on YouTube for a while now, and along the way, I've learned a couple of things. And I just wanted to share what I've learned with you guys. So let me present to you my new video.
This is how to review a film.
Okay, so the first thing that you're going to want to do when you're reviewing a movie is, of course, introduce the movie. Who's the director of the movie? What's his filmography? What other films has that director made? Who are the stars of the movie? Did you enjoy these actors or actresses in some other films that you've seen, or have you not enjoyed their previous performances? Next, it's really important to provide some context. And this is where you shouldn't be afraid to get personal. In fact, throughout your entire review, you're going to want to be very personal. You want to talk about your personal experience with the prequels to this film, your personal experience with the rest of the director's filmography, and the filmography of some of the actors in this movie. For instance, when I reviewed Venom, I talked about my childhood reading comic books and the fact that I had seen a lot of comic book movies. So just remember that when reviewing a movie, it's important to provide some context and talk about your personal investment in a film. Okay, so the next part of any good review is a plot summary. And with the plot summary, it's important to keep in mind, this thing is supposed to be short. The point of a plot summary is just to give the viewer a bit of an idea of what a film is about, and that should tell them if it's something that they want to see or not. So with your plot summaries here, avoid details and of course avoid spoilers. Okay, so next we're going to go into some categories that you guys can talk about when reviewing a movie. But first, I just want to emphasize one very important point. The point of reviewing a film is to express your opinion. So if you're going to be a film critic, you better damn well have one. That's the whole point of a review. You're meant to be evaluating the movie. So is this movie worth seeing or not? Take a stance on the film and make sure that you reveal your opinion early. Okay, so without further ado, now it's time to get into some categories that you can use when reviewing films. So first off, when you're reviewing a movie, it's important to talk about the story and the plot. And it's important to understand the difference between these two terms. Basically, they're just two sides of the same coin. With plot, well, we've all heard the term plot points, and that describes it pretty well. Basically, the plot is just the bare bones of the narrative. And the story is the sinews, the glue that holds everything together. So make sure that you talk about the story and the plot in your review. Did the story have you invested? Or have you seen this plot done a million times before? Did you find it very generic? Another thing that I always talk about in my reviews is the cinematography. And cinematography refers to a lot of things, but it just comes down to skilled camera use at the end of the day. What cameras and lenses did the director and cinematographer use? What type of shots are utilized in the film, whether that be dolly shots, crane shots, GoPro shots, drone shots, helicopter shots. There's a lot of different types of shots. And you can talk about lots of stuff when it comes to cinematography. Do the camera movements complement the narrative or mood of the film in some way? Were there some pretty original shots that you haven't really seen before that you want to highlight? Talk about all that stuff when you talk about cinematography. So the next category is something that you're definitely going to want to cover in pretty much any review, and that is the acting. So this is your chance to talk about the actors' performances in this movie. Did you find these performances entertaining? Did you believe that their portrayal was realistic? And it can be kind of fun to speculate here. Let's say that an actor gives kind of a bad performance in the film that you are reviewing, and yet you've seen them deliver a much better performance in a different film. Well, you might wonder, perhaps it was bad direction that was responsible for that bad performance. And maybe the actor isn't to blame, maybe it's actually the director's fault. Okay, so this next category isn't necessary for every single film that you're going to be reviewing, but a lot of the time, you're going to want to talk about the effects. And I think that you guys know what I mean by good and bad effects. But just in case, here's an example. Mad Max Fury Road has good effects, and Justice League has bad effects. Most of the time in my videos, I tend to praise practical effects, things that are done in real life, like in The Thing or a lot of the Mission Impossible movies. But there are, of course, lots of movies where CGI is utilized very well. Most of the Marvel movies have pretty impressive CGI, and the Star Wars films do as well. Okay, so another thing that you should definitely cover in your review is the music in movies. I actually think that music is one of the most important parts of a good film. And there's a lot that you can talk about in regard to the score. Did you like the musical choices that were made? Did you find that they fit into the film well? Did you find that the music really complemented the director's vision? Or did you find it really distracting? Another category that you should cover in pretty much every movie review is tone. And there are a lot of different types of tone that can be very effective in a film. The director can create a very sad tone, or a happy tone, or a tone that gets you excited. And it's important to discuss tone, because if the tone in a film is all over the place, it's really hard as an audience member to get invested. The new Jurassic Park movies, in my opinion, are a perfect example of this. They're all fun and jokes until all of a sudden they want to be serious and they want you to care about these characters. And you just don't. And the last category that I want to cover here is theme. And this is something that I'll discuss in pretty much every single review. And that is a discussion of the themes that are apparent in a film. The theme of a movie will rarely be something that's explicit. In fact, sometimes it's barely even intended. But to me, understanding the theme is crucial to appreciating and evaluating a movie. So as a conclusion to this video, I just want to give you guys some of the elements that you should be including when you provide your final thoughts on a movie. So when you guys are concluding your movie reviews, don't forget to sum up your main points. The point of a good conclusion is to recap your arguments, so make sure that there's nothing in the final thoughts section of your movie review that hasn't been in one of the other sections. One thing that I always like to do is either recommend the movie or not, or I give kind of a conditional recommendation. Go see Pacific Rim, but only if you really like movies about robots punching each other. And something that a lot of critics will do, they'll give a rating on a movie. I really prefer not to do that. I don't really give number scores or ratings on movies. You guys have probably noticed that. Mostly I just like to say, is this movie good or not, and should you guys go see it or not? I don't get all tied up and obsessed with the idea of giving the movie a score. But of course, as a film critic, that's entirely up to you. And the last thing, guys, before I go, this is something that I do at the end of every single review. It's very important to invite criticism. So make sure that you ask for responses, make sure that you ask for comments, make sure that you invite criticism so that people can really get a discussion going about the topic that you obviously cared enough about to write a review or record a video. And that, my friends, is how you review a film. So before you guys go, let me know down in the comments, what did you guys think of this video? Did you find it helpful in watching and evaluating movies? If you review movies yourself and you have some tips of your own, please leave those down in the comments as well. But yeah, guys, that's gonna be about it for this video. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys, and I will see you guys next time.